everyone. How's everyone doing? Oh my gosh, you guys already know I got my knee up on my chair because, we're going to have a little discussion about this case. Just to let you guys know, I started an actual playlist of this case because I really think I'm going to be covering this a lot more extensively and just prepping up for the trial. I believe it's going to be coming up, September, at least the first hearing that we know of. Trial probably won't even be until next year, I would think. Just thinking out loud. So I figured I'm going to start a playlist, and I'm kind of glad that let me just tell you guys something. Trevizo, I'm glad that I started chipping away at it very early on, because I feel like now Law and Crime is catching up to the fact that there was other videos, and now they're posting these videos up that a lot of the other channels like True Crime Anayeli had posted up. So people were hitting me up and they were like, "Have you seen this interview?" I said, "Yeah, I reported on it like 3 weeks ago yesterday." And we were already on it because, we're always on it. But yes, yes, anybody. Oh, let me see who's in the house. I know. And shout out to all my beautiful, 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 beautiful subs and members. Miss Kathy P, thank you for being in the chat. Liz G, thank you. Rose with Thorns, do the right thing, my beautiful mod. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mom of Gladiator, thank you. TLC is me. Marcy Wim, Periwinkle, Violet is here. Sarah Silva, welcome. Curls 29. How are you? How are you doing? Tassie, Christina, welcome. Teresa, welcome. Amy Wim, my beautiful, wonderful Wim. Thank you. Miss O, new member in the house. Shout out to you. Who else is in the house? Daz, welcome. Desiree, welcome. Thank you for coming through, you guys. Grandma, welcome. Darcy, welcome. Thank you. Generally, Jenny always in the house supporting me, and I appreciate you. Grandma, Daz, welcome. Grandma said that she was number 34 on that like button. Okay, what number are you? Whack Attack, welcome. Oh man, Cape renewed her membership. Thank you, Cape, for renewing your membership, my love. This is gonna be interesting because I got my nurses, my medical professionals, my beautiful SW Cape, everybody else. I hope Miss Rowena's in the chat. Shout out to her. Hey Ellie, everybody, loving the laundry. Thank you. Oh my gosh, Natalie, welcome. Thank you. Beautiful adoption mommy. Thank you for coming through. Hey, Desiree, hope you're doing well. Oh my gosh. Chrissy B, thank you. Thank you for coming in. You renewed. Thank you so much. Teresa, Twisted Sister, became a member, I think yesterday, right when we were leaving. Shout out to you and thank you for becoming a member. You were the number one on the likes. All right, cool. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Marcy, this case is very interesting and I'm looking for new information on it. Absolutely. I think, you know, this case right here is always like there's other developments. Things are just like I had no idea after reviewing some. So let's do a little review of what happened yesterday, okay? We know that Gary Mitchell, the defense attorney, came in, at least made his appearance sometime in May, I think 23rd or 22nd, if I remember the court docs. That's when he made his appearance. He entered his appearance and said that he was coming in, asking for discovery. Prior to that, to his appearance, Lexi was. My understanding is that the entrapment argument was already being questioned. Okay, so they were already like, at least the defense side of Lexi was already saying, well, it's questionable, this defense. So the DA was already ready to, they submitted that motion that said, I need to know your alibis for this defense of entrapment. If you're saying that that's not you, you need to tell me who gave birth to this infant. So that was interesting. I was like intrigued by that. The other thing that I dropped yesterday too was I was reading what was the code? I wrote it down here. It was the 30-3-11B. Okay. And that was part of her conditions of her release, her bond. Her conditions was that she were to follow 30-3-11. That in particular, in that code, is specific to like intimate partner relationships. Okay. Let me play you that short for those that missed it. I dropped a short on it yesterday. And it wasn't like, it's about 30 seconds or less. Let me see if I could play it. Here it is. Oh, and I hate the YouTube shorts sometimes because it's like they get the worst side of you. Here I am, like my nose is itching. Look at this.
So we went over this document, the order setting conditions release. We talked about the bond and everything. I want to go to an area where we had some questions about who the court could be talking about in this part. Right here, where it says defendant's conditions of release, other conditions, not to have any personal contact
Who are
with
they
a
talking
person
about?
who is or could be defined as a continued personal relationship under 30-3 11B. So I looked that up to kind of get some more perspective. B is listed as continuing personal relationship, means dating or intimate relationship. Is it possible that Lexi isn't able to have contact with Devin as of this order? As as of conditions to her release? Potentially. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts. So we went over this.
One thing I noticed in as well as in the list of witnesses, Devin, the alleged father, is not a witness. He could be called, but he's not a witness. Absolutely. Do you think it's the baby daddy? Okay. Has to be or be. That's what I'm saying is who's intimate partner. Now, you know who is a witness? Her mother. So I was listening to a couple of other people who were saying, this is why they added Texas as an additional address, because if you're a witness to this case where you can be called, like you can't be living, I don't know what the rules are about living in the same household with somebody that is going to be a witness to the prosecution or a witness in general, right? I'm kind of curious to know about that. You said Devin? Yeah, you think it's that who so I'm curious. Do you all think that she's having contact with the alleged father? They went to prom together. We know that. So I'm curious. I would like to hear what the mother has to say. I know. It's a lot of people. And she wasn't even interviewed. Mom wasn't interviewed. The little conversations that she'd had, but she wasn't like formally interviewed to ask questions about this case. Okay. Lexi hasn't been interviewed. Devin refused to be interviewed. Devin's mother, we haven't seen an interview with. Who else in that household? So, we're going to talk about medication today. And this is why I love that I have my medical professionals in here. Because if you guys remember when we reviewed the baby autopsy, there was a medication that was mentioned by the name of phenamine. I think that's how you say that. Y'all let me know in the chat if I'm saying it correctly. And I was under the impression because diet pills were brought up when the nurse was interviewed the first time. The nurse that was there, something about diet pills. Then we went back to pills because she was given pain medication, I believe, when she went to this hospital. A lot of people are making different arguments about are these prescribed? Were they not prescribed? If she was prescribed diet pills, or was she just taking somebody's diet pills from the house? She was prescribed birth control, which would have meant that if she was prescribed diet pills for the increase of weight, don't you think? Thank you, phentermine, not and thank you, not the other phentermine. Vic's like, listen, get it together. Phentermine, that's how you say it. The one pH. Thank you. But both of them require a prescription. Let's not forget that. My understanding is that phentermine requires a prescription. I could be wrong. Does it? So was she taking somebody else's diet pills from the house? Or did she go to the doctor and get a prescription? And if so, was she asked if she was pregnant at this appointment? Is it? Is it? Okay. I heard it was really easy to get a script. I have more questions, and this is why we said we're going to create a playlist of this. I'm going to play, before I start with the nurses stuff, I want to, yes, didn't they used to, was, Desiree, that's a good question. Hold up. Isn't that the one they used to call Fen-Phen? Oh, okay. Who are all these crazy says? Yes, it does. Rabbit, I used to take it. It requires a prescription. So how did she, listen, we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But I want to talk a little bit about what Miss Abby Lynn said on TikTok, okay? Because one thing that I learned about Abby Lynn was
Part two, here we go.
medical staff. I think she's like a nurse or something, or she was. Look at this.
You guys, this is going to be a long video, and I apologize in advance, but I'm going to respond to some of Gary Mitchell's comments in his interview. So let's just dive right in. This is going to be a part 1 and a part 2.
Gary Mitchell
says Trevizo went back to school in January
Trevizo's
after
attorney.
giving birth, but after her arrest, only returned to take a final exam. He says she has a 3.8 GPA and has already committed to attend New Mexico State University in the fall. On top of that, he says she's never been in trouble before.
She has absolutely no criminal record, not even a moving traffic offense, no juvenile record, no suspension from school ever, no infraction at school, and an honor student, and already admitted into college. And a member of the cheer team since she was a freshman in high school, a member of the choir, just an all-around top-notch student and person.
An all-around good student and person? Is he for real? Let me remind you, Mr. Mitchell, that Ted Bundy was a 4.0 GPA student and excelled at pretty much everything he did. Just
Not
because
Ted
Alexee excelled academically does not mean shit. But nice try.
On January 27th, when she was admitted to Artesia General Hospital, Mitchell says Trevizo didn't expect to give birth.
So she is shocked whenever she delivers a baby. And then the issue of what caused the baby's death is going to be one that's going to be litigated. I already have a real good idea what caused the baby's death. It had nothing to do with my client. She was not at fault.
Mitchell says Trevizo had spent 4 hours working out with her cheerleading team earlier in the day and was dehydrated. He says pregnancy didn't even cross her mind.
There's no question that she thought she had been protected. There's no question that she had wisely used birth control, she and her boyfriend. So, but obviously it didn't work.
Upon arrival at the hospital,
She was using birth control. This is the defense attorney, right? Obviously it didn't work. Okay, let's keep watching.
Mitchell says Trevizo was loaded with medication, including Zofran, sodium chloride, and morphine.
The issue of what caused the baby's death is going to be litigated in court. Yeah, I'm sure it is, but we all know what happened to him. I mean, you have seen the autopsy report, right? So she spent 4 hours cheerleading with her friends and she was dehydrated. Mr. Mitchell, how do you know that she was dehydrated? I mean, labs will clinically be able to tell you if she was in fact dehydrated, but how do you know that? Or was she just thirsty? Or is this just another excuse of what may have happened to the baby that has actually really no relevance at all? Oh, and she was just loaded up with Zofran for nausea and sodium chloride, which is just fucking saline. But we better throw that in there, you know, because we got to make the list look long. And then morphine. Oh, God, you know what? The hospital is damned if they do, damned if they don't. They treated the symptoms that she came in with, and now you're trying to hold it against them while claiming that they were negligent.
That's, you know, when she said this, I said, I didn't really think about it this way too, right? Because y'all know I like to look at the big picture. I still feel like there was more to be done from the hospital side on once the baby was born. That's just my opinion. We can agree to disagree on that one. Y'all know I welcome it all. But Abby does make a point here to say, yo, she's at the hospital to treat the symptoms that she's complaining about while also not acknowledging that she's pregnant even after she took a pregnancy test. Do you know what I'm saying? So I still agree that everybody, including the hospital staff, failed this baby that was born alive, that something more could have been done. That's just my opinion. But I also can see the side of like you're someone's walking in this hospital in pain and whatnot, and you're treating these symptoms, right? And you can only go so much by what they're telling you.
Get out of here. But Mr. Mitchell, let's say that the hospital didn't give her those medications, okay? Were they supposed to say, oh, hey, Rosa, Alexee, I know that you're in here because you're having 10 out of 10 excruciating back and hip pain, but you know what? We're not going to give you shit. You can just lay there and suffer because even though you're saying you're a virgin, we'd like to do a pregnancy test on you. Really, Mr. Mitchell, is that what they were supposed to do? And you really think that would have been okay with Rosa? You really think that would have been okay? Oh, and if we want to talk about powerful drugs. Let's talk about the phentermine that she had been taking.
Phentermine, that's
that causes birth defects and miscarriage and low birth weight and all that shit. What about that? Conveniently, we're going to leave that out because, we got to blame the hospital, and that doesn't go with your agenda.
Right there. So Flor says if someone gave that girl a script for phentermine without ruling out pregnancy, I'd like that prescriber. I think that prescriber, has a lot of explaining to do, in my opinion. How did she get a hold of diet pills? We know she had, because even the registered nurse, and we want to look at that interview, which, like I said, by the way, Law and Crime is releasing all these interviews that these other True Crime Anayeli had already released a couple weeks ago. Shout out to that account. Shout out to them for doing that. And here they are, trying to, redo them when we've already seen them. How? And it Mexico RX? I mean, it could be. Did she travel to Mexico? It's not hard to get somebody's pills, right? Did she get this medication from somebody? That's a question. That's $1 million question for me. Because she either went to the doctor and got it prescribed, or she was taking it from somebody in the household, right? She's too thin to be on it, but she was taking something. The medication doesn't cause that. They used to give it to pregnant women to control gaining so much weight back in the 80s. My doctor told me, says Shamina. Interesting. Could be, maybe, is it possible, Shamina, that they might have changed that because after studies, it shows that it gave birth to, I'm just thinking of, is it possible that could have changed? Or are pregnant women still being prescribed that? I was pregnant a while ago, man, baby bunny is a little over 1 now. And definitely had some issues with my weight as well. So I fairly getting myself back to normal after all that, but I was not prescribed any of that. So I'm kind of curious. Maybe it changed, right, to keep her weight down. So something is not, when I heard her say this, I said, well, something's not right about this.
Got it. This video is already 4 minutes long, so I'm going to make a part 2. So make sure you check that out.
All right.
Part 2, here we go. If you didn't see the first part, go check that out first and then come back. I had to open up a drink for this one.
They gave her major medication. Some of that medication certainly dangerous to a unborn child or fetus, and contraindicated if you're pregnant. Certainly contraindicated if you're going to breastfeed later on. And that medication was started without finding out whether or not she was pregnant.
Okay, so if you didn't watch the first part, I kind of touched on the whole medication thing there. Were they, the hospital, were they really supposed to be like, oh, hey, we know you're here for excruciating pain, but we're not going to give you anything. We want to do a pregnancy test, even though you say you're a fucking virgin. So just sit there and suffer, and we'll let you know when we get the result back. Really, Mr. Mitchell? So you're trying to hold them accountable for treating the symptoms that she came in with. You guys, seriously though, just imagine if the hospital staff would have said, hey, sorry you're suffering in pain, but we're not going to give you shit because we want to do a pregnancy test. I mean, can you just imagine?
Girl.
Rosa would have lost her shit. She would have completely came fucking unglued. Now this next one, guys, this is why I had to open the drink. Wait till you see this shit.
This is a classic instance. The female feels the need to go to the restroom. Maybe we better check and make sure she's not delivering a baby.
I'm sorry, y'all, but I do agree with that piece. I do feel like if she had done a urine test and y'all were waiting on the HCG or whatever, yes, I personally feel like the hospital was negligent in that. I do feel like they share some responsibilities. That's just how I feel. Now, do we can disagree to agree on this one, okay? I know you guys feel different. That's fine. I'm just saying, I do feel like this was a failure in all ends.
I mean, you just don't allow that kind of thing if you know what you're doing. They did, and they didn't bother to tell her.
Mitchell also stresses Trevizo gave birth alone.
So this is a situation in which the hospital failed her, The nurses and doctors failed her. The office of the medical investigator has failed her.
When asked why Trevizo put her baby in the trash can, Mitchell echoes what Trevizo says in body camera video.
Lexi, I told you about this. I just asked you, baby, to tell me the truth. It was not crying or nothing.
The baby was dead. She took her baby. I know and I'm not at liberty to get into that. I need to save that for our experts and stuff to discuss. And I really don't want to tip off the state of New Mexico to what my client might say. But let me put it this way. People would be very pleased with the actions that she took and the way she handled the situation, despite the fact she's on major pain medication, is in total shock and in a state of panic. She still tried to do the right thing by her baby. I'll tell you that.
Why?
What? No, she didn't. No, she didn't. SW says the hospital messed up, but no way. Mom and Lexi didn't know she was preggo. Her doctor who prescribed her the medication failed her, and her PCP failed her. Well, that's the $1 million question: is was she prescribed this medication, yes or no? Or did she take this medication from somewhere? She was prescribed birth control. That's unknown. Do we know for a fact whether she was prescribed or not? That's where I'm curious. SW, thank you for the $5, my love. Thank you. Look at you guys. Yo. Pleased with their actions. Yes, very pleased. These interventions is like, I'm already dizzy with this BS. Escape says, I went back 20 years, and in 2003, the girl I was 18, when she had a baby in the bathroom at a reception area and baby found alive in the garbage. What about adult accountability? I mean, listen, Mr. Gary Mitchell is reaching. He's reaching for the stars. He's reaching. You already know. It reminds me so much of the cheerleader case. Yes. Rabbit, she failed the baby. In the mom says, I just asked you, so do you think you asked if, excuse me, do you think she's asked if she was pregnant? Question mark. I see. Let me see. That's my question, though. Miyu says her parents failed her. Chrissy B says they were very negligent. I think it's all around. Bro is about to crack a hip when reaching. He's reaching for the stars. He's already cracking hips. You better stop, Whack.
On earth would the hospital think, oh, we better go to the bathroom and make sure she's not having a baby in there? Why on earth would they think that? Because who the fuck does that?
Well, they
you
did.
Know what, Mr. Mitchell? They did check on her several times.
That's why they did take it. The CNA said they thought she was having a miscarriage. So, yeah, I mean, I would not be surprised. Now, having had some miscarriages, I remember I had a bathroom in the it's several years ago, but there was bathrooms, at least the hospital that I went to, the bathroom was in the room, there's some that are out, and then there's some bathrooms in the room. And I remember that they would ask me not to flush. That's what they would do. They ask you, don't flush the toilet if you're having a miscarriage. Thank you. Now I remember this shit. Okay, if you're having a miscarriage, you're asked, if you go to the hospital, depending on the hospital and protocol, typically they ask you not to flush. You don't flush. But again, that's me telling the hospital that I think, that I was pregnant. And then that's finding out later on that, you're having a miscarriage and whatnot. So that's the difference. And if I have any nurses in here, I mean, I know I do, but isn't that kind of like, how it works though? Like if you know that somebody's pregnant and they're having to go to the bathroom and they're having these symptoms like they're about to deliver or have a miscarriage, typically they ask you not to flush the toilet because that's a way to confirm as well. It's a combination of blame, says Wim. Right. I agree. But that's just my. Yeah, if they know that you're pregnant, they ask you, don't flush the toilet, right? Yes, pull the cord and nurses attend immediately to assist and assess. Right. They have to kind of see what is coming out.
As did her own mother, twice. And she kept saying, oh, I'm just having a hard time going. I'm okay. And it got to the point that the hospital staff finally said, hey, What's going on? Either you come out or we are unlocking the door and forcing you out. So what else were they supposed to do? And the reason why Alexee had a baby alone isn't because the hospital neglected her. It's because she ran her ass to the bathroom to be alone, wouldn't open the door for anybody. Mr. Mitchell, she had that baby alone because she wanted to have him alone. The hospital did not fail her. The nurses and doctors did not fail her. If Alexee didn't want to be alone, all she had to do was pull the cord that was sitting right beside her.
No, let me clarify when I say this. The hospital staff, as it pertains to Lexi, did not fail Lexi. They failed the baby. That's just my opinion. I agree with Abby on this one. They did not fail Lexi. They failed the baby that was born. That's what I'm saying. Is there a difference to that? There's a difference. Lexi wasn't failed. Lexi was given medical treatment. We're not disputing that. It was the baby that they failed that clearly was born alive. Yes, that's my opinion. They all failed the baby, right? So I'm not arguing that Lexi was failed. No, I don't think she was. Lexi was dishonest. Lexi knew what the hell was going on. But the baby was failed because you had the charge nurse who said, I took the baby immediately to trauma 2. And based on the body cam, on the footage that was shown, that's not what happened. It's not. If they knew she was pregnant, they should have, in my opinion, more should have been done. But I agree that Lexi is not the victim here. Lexi is no victim. The victim is the baby. Thank you. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Like, yeah, that's it. So just to clarify again, because a lot of people were like, how could you blame the hospital? No. I think that there was negligence to this baby, but Lexi's not the victim. They didn't fail Lexi. They failed this baby.
Scream for help. Run out of the bathroom holding the baby.
Yes.
The same way she ran in. Anything. Nobody failed anybody except she failed her own baby. People would be pleased with the actions that she took and the way she handled the situation, despite being on powerful pain medications and shock. Are you shitting me? Do you actually think that anybody with a brain or a heart or any kind of human decency would be pleased with a person who not only unalived their own baby, but threw him in the trash can? Mr. Mitchell, even if the baby had been stillborn, which we know he wasn't, you don't throw a baby in a trash can. Nobody is pleased with how she handled that situation. Oh, and you guys, I didn't upload this part, but also in this interview, Mr. Mitchell says that just because there's air in the baby's lungs, he doesn't think that means that Alexee did anything to him. He's really questioning like the autopsy report, and Alexee didn't do anything with the baby. So Mr. Mitchell, I don't know if you're trying to imply that the baby came out stillborn and like the air was in the baby's lungs because she did CPR and like gave him the air or what, but I'm telling you that did not happen, because what's the first thing they do when a baby comes out? They suction out their airway because they have amniotic fluid, they can have mucus, meconium, and a number of things in there that they have to get out of the baby so they can breathe properly. And if his airway was not suctioned out, if she had given him rescue breaths, all of that substance would have been forced down into his lungs.
Yes.
And you know what? I don't think we really saw anything down in his lungs, did we? And also, Mr. Mitchell, if she had attempted CPR on the baby, his fragile little baby ribs would have been broken, because ribs get broken when you're doing chest compressions. So again, nice try, but you don't have a leg to stand on.
Lord. Oh my God, y'all. What do y'all think about that? Okay. Let's jump over. Let's jump over to hold up, where did that part go? Right here. Because we have to talk about this drug, that this diet pill that Phentermine. It's not fen-phen. Thank you for those that corrected me. Thank you. Lady had kidney stones in the ER, and before they could give her pain meds, they waited to get pregnancy test results back. Ooh. Yes. Okay, thank you. Someone make this woman an expert witness. Could the staff have been able to barge in the bathroom to check on her? That's a good question. Well, what it's their property. If somebody, let me ask y'all a question. I don't know, but I was under the assumption that if somebody goes to the bathroom, let's just say that they attempt to unalive themselves, okay, in the hospital bathroom, wouldn't they barge in the door as well? In this situation, she unalived this newborn baby, right? So it's like, what would be the difference? This baby, they gave her a pregnancy test. It was positive. She denied being pregnant. In my opinion, that should have been a red flag from the get. Should they have given her pain medication right away? No, they shouldn't have. I don't know what came first, and that might also be a good question to ask. Did her saying that she had pain, and then did she get the medication before the pregnancy test, or did they give her the pregnancy test first and then the medication? Which one came first, right? Would be important to note. Clearly, the pain medication could have helped her with the pain of what was going on. We didn't hear her screaming in the bathroom. She didn't, maybe that, was helpful in that. However, what came first? The pregnancy test or the medication? And if the medication came last, or excuse me, the pregnancy test came last, why not keep an eye on her bathroom, whatever she flushes down the toilet or whatever it may be, before even letting eyes out? I mean, there's just different things that could have been done, in my opinion. But yeah. Uh, Lexi has a very baby-like personality. Her mom controls everything she does. Can't see her getting prescribed pills by herself, says Jennifer. Do you think, Jennifer, she was probably taking it from somebody else? Hospital used to be run by Catholic churches, and nurses were nuns who believed in suffering and questioned people's pain. That's why we do not question pain and use a pain scale. Maybe she had an angel face. Could be. I mean, there is something very innocent. Belinda, that's a good point. There is something very innocent like about the way her face looks. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? She just looks like a very young, type of girl. However, I do feel like the mother, the mother can be, she's a little overbearing, and maybe that's why she couldn't really be honest about her pregnancy with her. Like, I wouldn't want to tell that lady, I'm pregnant. If that was I'd be like, damn, she's gonna flip out on me. Um, Oh, Tammy, I see you. YouTube is crazy. The last two lives I haven't been able to talk on the chat. Now, I see you, Tammy. I see you, my love. Um, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. Her mom also said that she had her periods these past months. Yes. So Tammy, like, she was well aware of her menstruation. This is the kind of mom she's buying her pads. I, I, yeah. You think the cheerleaders were sharing diet pills? Lord mercy. Yeah, Wim, she has a very immature look. I'm sorry, but the mother acts like a pill to me. If you rather, what'd you say? Do the right thing. If you rather attempt to hide the birth of your child before telling mom you're pregnant, something is wrong. Right. Not only hide it, but her actions led to the death of this baby. Right. Do the right thing. So it's like she didn't want this baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, she did not want this child. Let's just be real. Like, she didn't. Her actions, in my opinion, showed that.
No, it's okay.
You know? All right, this is the RN, the registered nurse. And we have to rewatch this because there's parts that I was like,
Coming into work?
interesting. Let's talk about this
Okay,
drug.
and are you Elizabeth Crawford? Detective Gonzalez.
Jim Minter, nice to meet you.
All right. So
You're not in trouble.
I know.
Okay.
We just want to start that off with all the interviews.
So if you could you just tell us everything from your contact on January 27th with either the patient or the child, any contact you had from beginning to end?
I didn't have much contact with her until she exited the restroom. I didn't take care of her before that. But
So the
after
patient.
that, I took care of her. Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us what happened?
So she came out of the restroom.
Mhm.
There was a little trail of blood from the bathroom back to her room. We went to her room. I went to get her undressed. The doctor came in, explained to her that she had a miscarriage. Her and her mom had a back and forth about it.
The doctor said she had a miscarriage?
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. This is important because we talked about this. The doctor even said, so her test was positive. Okay, the doctor, the one that was interviewed by Zoom, she said her test was positive. So, or positive for pregnancy. So she was like immediately, well, then maybe her symptoms are showing as of a miscarriage, which I've had one. I've also had a tubal type of pregnancy. So I understand. I guess I get both. I had to have a DNC at one time as well. So I understood when she, all that language, because once you go through it, you kind of understand the possibilities that can happen here, right? So the doctor, once the test was positive, she started thinking, well, she's having a miscarriage and she's bleeding and she needs to probably have a DNC, to figure this out. So I can understand that approach. Absolutely. Hey, Rabbit in chat, she was hiding it from her mom and they were about to examine her because her test was positive. So she decided to go to the bathroom and did what she did in jail for her. Yeah. And remember, she wouldn't let people touch her, right? So keep that in mind. But where I go back to is she was either sharing medication with she got these diet pills from somewhere, or she really was on diet pills and she was prescribed. And if that's the case, just like Flor said, well, I want to know who prescribed diet pills to a pregnant woman, especially these diet pills,
Okay.
She said it seems essentially like, I'm not sure the exact words. So it was a few months ago, but she said, it seems that you've suffered from a miscarriage, which didn't seem totally abnormal. It seemed awful miscarriages before they were very bloody.
Right.
And so.
Was she bloody?
Mm-hmm.
Like
and then
her legs? And
yeah, she had blood all down her legs, and then there was blood in the bathroom everywhere. So.
And her socks.
You saw that?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then got her in the bed, got her in a gown, helped her clean up. Doc came in, we did the pelvic, essentially. And then HT had come in and took the doctor away. And then I helped her get back in the bed, get her comfortable. I went to go get her blankets. And that's where the baby itself was in that room where the blankets are. So then I went back in there and essentially just took care of her.
Look at her account. Notice how she said, I went back. HT, I think, is the head nurse in charge. Hey, crazy cat mama. The head nurse in charge, right? She says that's where the baby was on the blankets. So hold up, y'all. This part.
And I just took care of her as where the baby itself was in that room where the blankets are. So then I went.
The baby itself was in that room where the blankets are. So the head nurse in charge had come into the room. They were there. This nurse, Lexi, they were doing a pelvic exam, checking on her. Head nurse in charge comes in, takes the doctor. Okay. When she tells Lexi, I'm going to go get some more blankets, she gets some more blankets. The baby was already in the other room, near the blankets. Smokey, I have the same question as well. I had the same question. Thank you so much, Tiffany, for saying that. I appreciate you. Oh my gosh, Tiffany says I have a brand new band. Oh, well, shout out to you. Congratulations, y'all. Make sure you drop some hearts for Tiffany, okay? Yes, I mean, there might be one or two with a hero complex, but I don't think all of them are beefing up the story. It just seemed it's been so long. Right. It was, but wouldn't that give them time? The head nurse in charge really got to me because he made it sound like he immediately took the baby to trauma too. He did not. So is it possible that they did like some cleanup before that? I don't know. Like, risk management came back and said something?
Back in there and essentially just took care of her tried to as a postpartum patient from then on.
Right.
That's about it. Like after that, we had ultrasound come in to essentially make sure there's like no products of conception left in there. I think they did the mom somewhat after the pelvic exam was done.
And keep in mind, y'all are saying about how they did wait too long. Keep in mind, the autopsy of the baby was done the following day. It was done, we have the report. The autopsy of the baby was done the following day. The interviews happened in April, the week of the 25th. This happened January 27th. Why did they wait so long to interview these people? Exactly, crazy cat lady. They did. They did. So, yeah.
Were you in there when let's go back.
Okay.
You said you saw blood in the bathroom. Where did you see that?
It was just like on the floor, like with like white marks.
Okay.
Essentially, like she tried to wake that up.
Was it on the toilet? Was it where exactly was the blood and how much?
It was a good amount. It was like on the floor, essentially.
Okay.
So I don't remember seeing a lot on the toilet or anything like that.
Okay. So when you came into the room, did she say anything? Did you say anything to her?
Once we all figured out what was going on and I went in there, she essentially was scared. She was worried that she was going to get in trouble. She did have the back and forth with her mother that was just about like, they had said, oh, the mom was upset because she had had sex and hadn't told her. So they were going back and forth on that. And then she was just denying it, which was a little wasn't really deniable at that point in time.
Right.
So the patient was denying having sex at this point to her mom.
Yeah, she was trying to state that she was still a virgin.
After she came in from the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And all the blood and all that. Okay.
So did the pelvic, and then I think shortly after that, the mom was in the waiting room after that. And then she was just worried. She was asking me like what was going to happen. I told her obviously I did not know.
Is this when you found out she was worried about getting in trouble? Did she tell you anything like?
She didn't say anything about what had happened.
Mm-hmm.
She was just essentially worried that she was just going to get in trouble.
So that's what I mean. Were those the questions she was asking?
Mm-hmm.
Like so,
what's going to happen to me? Like that kind of thing.
Did she ever ask about the baby?
No.
Not once.
And so her folks, her getting in trouble,
Mm-hmm.
and anything other that she talked to you about?
She did at one point in time when the ultrasound tech was in the room with her, ask if there was anything. She pretty much said, would there be any like bad outcomes if she had stopped taking one medication and stopped taking another? And I said, well, what medications are you talking about? She said, well, what would happen if I stopped taking birth control, started taking weight loss medications?
Bingo. Did y'all hear that? Right there. What would happen? Hey, voices, welcome. What would happen if I started taking? Would something bad happen if I stopped taking one medication for another? What would happen if I stopped taking birth control for weight loss medication? The autopsy of the baby? Yes, I will play it again. And for those that are wondering, again, it is at the 513, maybe. I'm going to go to 510, 509 mark.
I stopped taking birth control, started taking weight loss medications.
I stopped taking birth control and started taking weight loss medications. Hold up.
And stopped taking another. And I said, well, what medications are you talking about? She said, well, what would happen if I stopped taking birth control, started taking weight loss medications? And I was like, I don't know.
You would get pregnant? Is it possible that she stopped taking her birth control? Not that she got pregnant during birth control, but she actually stopped taking her birth control and started taking weight loss medication. Her boyfriend of 2 years, allegedly, they sent out for the paternity tests, my understanding, hoping she would miscarriage. Yes, my understanding is that her mother knew that she was on birth control, although her mother didn't know she was having sex. But yes, hey Tara, I'm late and catching up. Glad we're addressing the diet. Tara, I saw your comment. Yo, please drop what you were saying in these comments on that comment. Like, let me know, because I was reading your comment and I was like, I really like your comment and we need to talk about your comment. And that's what really led me to think about these diet pills that we had been taught, that had been mentioned. So the first time we hear about diet pills was through this nurse, and then you had the autopsy report that basically substantiates that there was some type of appetite suppressant in this autopsy report of the baby, right? Hold up. Let me go back a little bit.
What medications are you talking about? She said, well, what would happen if I stopped taking birth control and started taking weight loss medications? And I was like, I don't know.
It's an odd question.
I thought so.
It wouldn't be an odd question to ask if you were looking to lose weight and you stopped taking your birth control pills because you're thinking that they're making you gain weight, and you're actively having sex with your boyfriend and you get pregnant. So I don't think it's an odd question to ask.
And how long have you been in RN?
9 years, almost 10.
And you live here in Artesia?
In Carlsbad.
In Carlsbad.
Exactly.
So you got her the blankets.
Mhm.
After that, what did you do? Did
Yes,
you have
it
any more
is.
contact with the patient?
Yeah, I just popped in periodically and like checked the amount of bleeding, make sure she wasn't like hemorrhaging or anything.
Okay. And then, so until she left, is that what you did? Did you do anything else other than check?
Yes, yes. So Tara said, I was prescribed diet pills a couple times over the years. They made me get blood work both times and asked about pregnancy. They are really speedy, suppress appetite, and not recommended if preg. Right. Right. So the question then becomes, like, were these prescribed, or did she just take them? Or like somebody said in the comments, the cheerleaders were sharing these diet pills amongst everybody. Were these cheerleaders taking diet pills too? She stopped. I mean, is it possible? And you're absolutely right, those that said it as well. You Gladiator said it as well, like, and I've said it too. You don't always take birth control because you're sexually active. There's typically various other reasons why people, sometimes they take it for acne, sometimes they take it for, menstrual cycle control, different things. And I had to see a doctor and a nurse practitioner to get them. Okay, so where do these pills come from? Because the baby had something in the system as well. Where do the pills come from? I wouldn't put it past the cheerleaders. Wow. It's an odd question to ask a nurse instead of a doctor, though, says Denise. But they always do a pregnancy test before and while you take it. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Acne. Thank you. Me and my sister took it for not because reasons. I'm still on it though, and I am post-menopause. So thankful my mom knew I was pregnant before I did. I was 19 years old and a virgin, and she witnessed everything, and she was the first to hold my son, says Chrissy. You know, on these pills, I didn't have to get blood work or take a pregnancy test, but you do have to go to the doctor. So I imagine she had gone in, they would have detected she looked pregnant at some point, right? You know what, Sam? That's a good point. You can buy this stuff out through the internet too. I mean, can you order some of this? We should test it. We should see. Let me see if you can order
Checking
some of
on her, make
this
sure she was
on
okay.
Amazon.
So,
Is that weird?
Did you participate in the
What if you
pelvic
can?
exam?
yeah, I was in the room.
Okay. Were you able to see did it appear that she gave birth based on the pelvic exam in your experience?
Would you be able to tell?
Yeah.
No.
No,
Okay.
You weren't. Okay.
So I've never done OB, so
Okay.
what a pelvic exam looks like after birth, I have no idea. I could say that there was a lot of blood, more than normal, like in a normal pelvic exam, obviously.
Right.
Like we tried to get the suction working because there was so much blood, but it wouldn't work that kind of thing.
Right.
Wow.
Okay. So
That's crazy.
after she left, did you do anything else? Have any other contact?
Mhm.
And so that was just your side of it. That's everything you did.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything we haven't asked as of yet that you think we should know about?
Nothing that I can think of.
Okay.
The only thing was just those medications that she was asking about. That was weird.
Just what happened if you stopped birth control, started weight loss?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And she didn't like expand on that? She didn't tell you why she was thinking that?
No, it seemed obvious in my head though. So.
Could you like tell me why it seemed obvious?
Well, it seemed like she'd been trying to hide this pregnancy from her mother for some time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know you're pregnant, you're not going to continue taking birth control pills. But if you're trying to hide it, you might start taking weight loss medications. That's just kind of what it seemed like in my head.
Okay, just want to make sure because it seems like it to me. Just want to make sure I'm not thinking.
And was the argument between her and her mom pretty?
What do you guys think of that? Thank you. SWC says, my daughter took 3 negative pregnancy tests and was on Depo. Found out at 7 months she was prego. Yeah, I mean, it happens. It just, it does happen. I've never been able to take birth control. I tried them a couple different times and they've always made me sick. Gotcha. Registered nurses in emergency room or outpatient. I want my 18-year-old stepdaughter to be on birth control, but she's a virgin and her mom has her medical card. There's tons of doctors that'll do it for an extra fee. I know it's because I tried it. Rabbit, what if the mom forced her to stop birth control and get on weight loss because she was getting fat? Could be. Could be, but then that would mean, wouldn't that still be a prescription or where would she get these pills? But that's a good point. But still at the end of it all, she knew she was pregnant. No doubt in my mind, says Belinda. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I think she knew. I think she knew.
He did.
I wouldn't say he did. It was awkward.
Awkward.
Yeah. Like they were going back and forth and her mom was definitely angry.
And patient is 19.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom is quite a bit older.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And they never once asked about the baby during the entire time you had contact with her once she left the bathroom. Even after they found out that the baby was found and all that, they never asked anything about the baby.
I did go, now that I think about it, I did go check on the mom just to give her an update. And I think she asked about the situation, like asked what was going on. But I told her I couldn't tell her anything. So I just went to go tell her that like she's being transferred to Roswell.
Right.
And give her an update on her daughter essentially. And that she asked about like what was going on with all of that. She said, what happened to the bathroom? What happened to the bathroom? I said, I can't tell you.
Right.
Wow.
But nothing specific saying what about the baby.
Correct.
Okay.
That is crazy. All right, let me show you guys. Let's go to, the trusted WebMD. The ones that you Google search something on WebMD and it's like, I always get scared about searching medical stuff on WebMD because I'm worried about what it's going to say. That's why I try to avoid it. But Tara Ellis says, WebMD, you must have a negative pregnancy test, which it does say that in there, by the way, before you're allowed to take this medicine. You will be required to have a pregnancy test every month during your treatment. Yes. So this is the drug, phentermine. I think that's how you say it, is used with the doctor-approved exercise, behavior change, reduce calorie diet program to help you lose weight. It is used by certain overweight people, such as those who are obese or weight-related medical problems. Losing weight and keeping it off can lessen the many health risks that come with obesity, including heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, and a shorter life. It is not known It is not known how this medication helps people to lose weight. It may work by decreasing your appetite, increasing the amount of energy used by your body, or by affecting certain parts of the brain. The medication is an appetite suppressant. And I lost my place. Appetite and belongs to a class of drugs. All right, and that's a huge medical word I can't even say. So, it's you have to take this under some kind of doctor supervision. And if that is the case, I highly doubt that this is the kind of medication that, you wouldn't be asked if you're pregnant. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, SW. Thank you. Yes, and please hit the like button. Vicky says, thank you for covering this story. I've been trying to find a channel that is digging deep, watching for shout out to everybody from South Africa. Vicky, thank you for letting us know where you're from. Thank you. I had a doctor prescribe it to me, no pregnancy test and monitoring, and then another doctor found out and didn't want me to take it, says Neon. Wow. Both of your sisters ended up with being pregnant? Wow. I understand. Everybody has different. Oh, yours is from Mayo Clinic? Tara's like, I got my information from the Mayo Clinic. Well, thank you for letting us know. Yes, tons of companies. It could cause aggression and mood swings, irrational thought patterns. I don't know. I mean, but the thing is that these are not, they're prescribed, right? That's the whole point. You would have to have been prescribed this, right? So we're going to go to TikTok land real quick. Let me see. Did I close out my TikTok tab? Sure did. And no, I don't see anywhere where you can get, at least on Amazon, you can't really get that medication. Hold up, y'all. There was something about, let me go back to this part right here, and I want to show you guys before I have to head out. Here it is. This is the medication. Lord, the music. Sorry, y'all. Let's see. So this is where she's describing what the medication is for weight loss. Where had she have gotten? Is a prescription only scheduled for? Hold up, y'all. Where could she have gotten this medication? Only to be used for up to 12 weeks and not to be used during pregnancy. Where could she have gotten this medication? Who gave it to her? Who prescribed it? Bingo. Who prescribed it? And why didn't they take one look at her and ruled out pregnancy first? Did they know the risk of taking it while pregnant? Was this planned? Did it come from Mexico? A lot of you guys asked that as well. Okay. And then she gives more about the Mexican pharmacies. I mean, you get anything from Mexico. And according to numerous sites, phentermine is available over the counter in Mexico, but there are laws about bringing it back to the U.S. Where did she get it? Is somebody in the house taking it? What's going on? I mean, it's a good question to ask, This is what it looks like. What do you think? Either way, seems fishy to me. Let me go back and let me get out of here real quick. There was another one that I wanted to show you guys. About the whole, here it is. Was it this one? Oh, Lord.
Asking me about the autopsy report, and I do have a copy of it. I've debated posting it or not, but I finally decided, you know what, I'm going to show it. So here you go. Okay, so this thing is 7 pages long. I'm going to go through them pretty quick. Just start screenshotting and go back and read them later. Here's one. Page 2. Look at that. Entrapment, homicide. It's chilling, you guys. Here's page 4. Page 5. 6. And page 7. Now, when you go back and read it, you will notice that it says phentermine was found in the baby's system, and that is an appetite suppressant that was obviously passed to him through Alexee.
Y'all hear that? So, yes. So there's so many things that could have happened. Lexi could have been taking this. She could have gotten it from maybe the cheerleaders were passing medication, which really sucks if that's the case, because she was, you know what I'm saying? That's not okay to do, and you got to be careful. And these are the kinds of things that you have to be careful with. Or maybe she got it from somebody in the family, or she was prescribed. And if that's the case, then somebody really messed up here.
It's also known as a diet pill. Now, what's really interesting to me about this is that she claims that she did not know she was pregnant. She didn't understand the weight gain. She was going to come off the birth control and start taking diet pills. So the fact that diet pills were found in the baby, it corroborates that story. And then, of course, the morphine got passed to the baby, which, I mean, she got that when she was in labor in the ER. So that's to be expected. And then everything else in that autopsy report pretty much says that the baby was normal, full term, completely viable, everything that you would expect. You guys, I honestly don't know what to make of this regarding the diet pills, because that corroborates her story that she didn't know she was pregnant. I'm really at a loss right now. What are your thoughts? Because,
well, does it? Does it corroborate her story that she didn't know she was pregnant? I don't know if it does. Because we could make a lot of speculation about that. Maybe she knew she was pregnant and didn't give a shit, or maybe she got pregnant while she decided to switch drugs and then this happened. Or maybe she didn't know she was pregnant, switched drugs, went about her life, and then here we are in January giving birth. Because we're talking about intentionality. Maybe she knew and she just didn't care. And she's like, I need to lose weight. I need to figure this out. We would have to assume that she intentionally was taking the medication knowing that she was pregnant. I'm curious, because this is kind of where my mind went. I said, wait a minute, let me go back a little bit to what she's saying.
Everything that you would expect. You guys, I honestly don't know what to make of this regarding the diet pills, because that corroborates her story that she didn't know she was pregnant. I'm really at a loss right now.
What that tells me is that, maybe these pills were not prescribed and she was taking them from somebody else. Potentially. It is crazy. Like, she's like, this is crazy. It is. It is. But the only reason why we even knew about the pills was because the nurse brought it up, and then you had the baby autopsy report. Or she didn't care. Thank you. Or she didn't care. Only one who seemed overweight would be the boyfriend's mom, who could have gotten the pills from. I don't know. I mean, anybody. No doctor will prescribe it to her due to her age, and she is not considered overweight and a healthy, active teen. So she then took it in hopes to keep the weight down and possibly miscarry. It did. The medication was it came out in the autopsy report. I suffer from a cluster of headaches. Gotcha. But would not prescribe it women due to childbearing age and birth defects. I agree with the nurse. She knew she was pregnant and started taking them not to gain weight and then hide it from mom. Yeah, the nurse made the same speculation as well. She said, she was asking me about what would happen if I switched the medication. Would something bad happen? I mean, it's like, really? Oh, you're taking birth control. You think mom probably got it for her? Oh, Lord. I know. We haven't heard from the girl yet. No, I agree with you, Christina. I agree with you on that one. This one really had me thinking about this.
What are your thoughts? Because I'm just spinning. Hey, everyone.
And a lot of people here are, commenting under this video saying she herself is just a child. I don't think she purposely killed her child. Not going to the doctor whole pregnancy will absolutely cause you to birth a still. Well, she didn't birth the still. Don't forget to add, even if she really didn't know, she still chose the moment to unalive her baby and throw him in the trash. That I do agree with. I do agree with that. How does she not know that the grieving inside of her belly and the baby moving? Yeah, it's a lot. if you are old enough to, oh Lord, here's somebody. You're old enough to do something. You're old enough to da da da. I don't think that corroborates her story. It just shows her disregard for the baby and started before his birth. Yes. I don't think that it, I don't think the fact, this doesn't really, I don't think it shows that she didn't know. I just think that she willfully took this medication. I do think she knew she was pregnant. Hey, Real Justice, I'm glad you're covering this for educational purposes for others. Yeah, we're just having a conversation. I'm going to be heading out here pretty soon. Curious what she could possibly say that would have people feeling how your lawyer implied we would be feeling and when we found out. She was old enough to make a baby. Cheerleader sharing it for the speed effect would shock me. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, that's not going to fly. It's not. I think she knew and wanted to keep it from mom. I mean, let me say, what would have happened? This is crazy part, right? And I was thinking about this, like, I don't want to put myself, I can't put myself in Lexi's shoes, right? But I'm just thinking in my mind, what if she walked out of that hospital? She did that. She left that baby in the, baby died, and then walks out of this hospital. Did she really think she was just going to walk out of this hospital and nobody was going to check? Nobody was going to somehow conclude that the baby came out of her? Like, what if they never found this baby until way later? Did she honestly think that people were just going to be like, no, yeah, everything's cool? Like, they were checking her pelvis and all this area. She didn't know she was pregnant, just like she was a virgin. She was telling people, I'm not pregnant. Doctors over here thinking she's having a miscarriage. Mom seems controlling. Exactly. Thank you so much, Christina, for your 269. I believe that's Swedish, right? Shout out to you. Thank you. Shout out to you. Thank you for doing that. I think she was in denial and absolutely did not want her mom to know. In Alabama, it's common for cheerleaders to take and share diet pills. Yeah, she was not being honest. She was scared. Let's just put it that way, yo. Just put it that way. That's all. She physically birthed the baby and put him in the garbage. Exactly, nurse. Exactly. That's how I see it. That's all. Thank you so much for the beautiful super chat. Rabbit, I'm shocked at how many women don't know about women's bodies, birth control. You have to educate yourself and educate your boys and girls. Exactly. Especially your boys. Like, I was thinking about this yesterday, and if Devin is the alleged father, okay, I'm going to say this, like, he bears the responsibility. This is why I ask you guys, is it possible? Do you guys think that Devin knew? I asked you guys on that other video. Did he know? How do you not know? If they were still having sex with each other, I'm assuming. Did he know or did he not know? Or did he just play stupid? Or maybe, Belinda says, or maybe he wasn't the father. Could be. No, there was no reason for this baby to die. I know. She thought she could just put this baby, double knot the trash can in the trash can, just walk away and go home. That's what she thought she was going to do. She thought that nobody was going to come after her. It wasn't breathing. Even if it wasn't. Say it was just a stillborn baby. She really thought she was just going to walk away and just leave a baby there. Exactly, Rowena. No. No. Yeah. So it stays in your system for a few days. Had she taken it recently, it can also have severe mood swings and thoughts and as of side effects. Yeah, she knew. She knew. Wow. Wow. For sure. Absolutely. And that was the other thing that Kate brought up when we were talking about in panel. It's like they're having all this communication with mom. The girl is 19 years old. She's an adult. Why did the medical staff just have mom move? Because she would have been more comfortable being, maybe there was a trust issue there. Clearly she wasn't being honest in front of mom. Like, the girl can speak for herself, clearly. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna head out. If you're watching the replay, please hit the like button for those that are coming in. definitely helps the algorithm. I want to thank everybody so much for being here. I'm going to head out. I got to cover something else later on, possibly this evening, depending on how the scheduling works. Thank you so much for all of the beautiful, wonderful super stickers and super chats. And thank you so much to the newest Cape Who Renewed Our membership and all the wonderful new members in the house as well. Please hit the like button. I got to head out because I got to go tend to that baby bunny. You guys have a great one. Rabbits out.